Greetings from the Center for Career and Professional Development. Today we're going to be discussing general job search strategies that you can begin to practice now to help prepare yourself for gainful employment after you graduate. Remember that all of CCPD services are available to you now as students, as well as when you're alumni. And all of our services are available virtually as well for us to be able to assist you with this process. So before we get started, let's talk about the Entitlement Creed. So many students feel as if they are entitled to a lot of things about their first job, but it's important to know what it is that employers feel that they are entitled to from their employees. So let's take a quick look at what those employers tell us that they feel they're entitled to.
I deserve a job after graduation because I earned it.
I deserve a job because I pay a lot of money to go to college.
I am entitled to a job because I've worked hard and gone to school.
You deserve a job after you graduate.
Absolutely. I deserve it. I'm in grad school now. An employer owes me a good job, decent benefits so that I can live, and health insurance. A little over $25 an hour.
$30,000 to $40,000 a year.
At least 40,000.
Oh, at least 60,000.
$70,000 to $80,000 a year.
Like $100 grand, yeah.
I deserve 7 figures per year.
At the Roxy Boy.
I am an employer.
I am an employer.
I am an employer, and I have jobs.
Good jobs.
Good job. And I'm hiring. But if you want to work for me, you need to know how I really feel.
You see, I am entitled.
I am entitled.
I am entitled.
I'm entitled to you arriving here to the job on time.
Every day until the very last minute of your shift.
And if you're scheduled at 9
and arrive at 9,
you're late.
I am entitled to you being positive and enthusiastic as you approach the task you're assigned.
regardless of what they are.
Or anything that may have happened to you before you came to work.
I get it. I have no right to say how you dress, communicate, or act on your own time.
However, while you're at work, I'm entitled to you being a professional.
And acting and speaking like one.
Showing up dressed and groomed in a way that best represents this organization.
And the image that we need to project to our clients and to the world.
I'm entitled to you doing the work. You are paid to do to the very best of your ability, and then some.
The only way this business is going to grow and provide opportunity for you to grow with it
is if you're continually looking for ways to excel,
achieve,
solve problems,
and add value whenever and wherever you can. I'm entitled to your respect for my rules, whether or not you agree with them.
I want you to enjoy working here and like your managers.
but that's not a condition of your willingness to follow company policies.
I am entitled to the truth.
And yes, I can handle the truth.
So if you're not ill, please don't call in sick.
If you handle money or merchandise, every cent must be accounted for.
if you lie, cheat, steal, fudge,
or hook a buddy up, even once.
The trust I need to have in you will forever be in question.
But it's our customers who are even more entitled.
They're the ones who pay our wages and keep this business running.
that entitles them to fast, friendly, and courteous service
from everyone in this organization.
So you need to go out of your way to show them how much we appreciate their business.
So if you agree to this list of entitlements, then you're not only entitled to a paycheck.
You're entitled to me living up to these same high standards.
But hey, if you feel like we're asking for too much,
then you're entitled to look for another employer that will not ask these things of you.
But the odds of you finding one aren't good.
All right. So you can see from that video that there are many things that employers feel like they're entitled to from their employees. So we encourage you to treat every opportunity that you take part in as an employable opportunity in order to develop and identify skills that you can use to perform well at your job. So let's look at a few fast facts. The average life cycle of the hiring process is about 38 days from the posting of the job to interview, about 23 days from interview to offer, and about 13 days from offer to acceptance. So this is once you find the position and the time that it takes to apply. On the right, you can see some of the top skills that employers are seeking from college graduates. The table at the bottom shows that the different times that recruiters are out looking for candidates for internships and full-time positions. So you can see that it is not a short process to get started, to be looking for these jobs. So we strongly encourage you to be looking for these jobs and internships well in advance of when you want to secure them. So that way you are out there and competitive for the positions that you are most interested in. We encourage you to start thinking now about life after college. Once you have your degree, you want to think about what's next and where do you start. And again, this process should get started while you're still in school. We encourage you to not wait until you graduate to begin that job search process. So before you start searching and applying for jobs, we have a general pre-job search checklist that we encourage you to consider utilizing. We're going to walk through each of these steps individually, but these are the steps that we want you to be taking before you start searching for jobs. So 1, have you explored what can I do with this major? Have you explored your values, interests, and strengths? Do you have a winning resume and cover letter? And have you brushed up on your interviewing skills? So let's look a little more closely at some of these. One helpful resource as you are looking for jobs may be our What Can I Do with This Major tool. This resource is helpful to recognize all the different fields you can work in with your major. So before you even get started with applying for jobs, you have to know what types of jobs you might be qualified for with your major. That list is often much broader than students think it is, and this resource is a really great tool for helping to explore all of those options. To access this, you can log into your Handshake account, click on the Career Center, select Resources, and then go to What Can I Do with This Major? The options are listed in alphabetical order, and almost all SFA majors are represented on this website, but note that they may be titled slightly differently than what we offer here at SFA. If you have any questions, contact the Career Center or set up an appointment with one of our amazing career coaches. So now that we've looked at what can I do with this major, it's time to explore your values, interests, and strengths. So we encourage you to invest in yourself. This is an acronym for a quick evaluation and assessment of you and thinking about what's important to you. We encourage you to identify your interests, brainstorm what you're interested in, and write it down. These are things that you like to do and that have captured your attention. Ask yourself, what co-curricular activities am I drawn to? What topics do I like to read about? When people ask me what I'm interested in, how do I answer? Second would be, what do you need from a job? After you have written out a budget, what type of salary do you need to survive? How much human interaction do you need in your job? What about your lifestyle arrangements, and are those flexible? These are all things to think about when you're thinking about what it is that you need from a position. Third are your values. What aspects of the job strike you as most important? Is it important to you to have independence or professional status? What type of lifestyle do you see yourself living? Do you want to live in a house or an apartment in the city or in the country? These are all things to think about what types of values are most important to you in your work and in your lifestyle. Next would be your experience. So thinking about what type of experience you bring to the table that employers may be interested in. This can include your classes, a part-time job, volunteering, internships, co-curricular involvement, and study abroad. There are many aspects of the college experience that employers are interested in and that can provide you with great skills to talk about. Next would be those skills and talents. So thinking about what have you been able to accomplish in class and work? What were some of your best classes? What talents and skills have you developed at previous jobs? What skills would you like to develop? So all things that we want you to be thinking about before you get started with the job search process. This will help you to filter out positions that may or may not be a good fit for you and really allow you to focus on positions that are going to meet these interests, needs, values, be a good fit for your experience and allow you to utilize or grow those skills and talents. Our Focus 2 system is a great way to explore that in those invest categories a little more deeply. Focus 2 offers assessments that explore your academic strengths, work interests, personality, leisure activities, values, and skills. These results are connected to majors at SFA and potential future career paths. You can explore and compare occupations and begin to create an action plan. And then finally, we strongly encourage you to meet with one of the career coaches in the CCPD to discuss your results and to have a what does it all mean type of conversation where you can then utilize those results in narrowing down those job search possibilities. You can access Focus 2 by going to our website at sfasu.edu/ccpd and clicking on the Focus 2 icon. From there, you log in with your MySFA credentials. So we've explored what can I do with this major, and we've shown you some resources for helping you to explore your values, interests, and strengths and connecting those to potential career paths. Each year, the National Association of Colleges and Employers does a survey with employers asking them, what key skills are you looking for in a new hire? Here's a list of what employers are saying is important for you to be able to demonstrate. Take a closer look at some of these skills. So these are skills that employers strongly encourage you to be able to demonstrate in your professional documents. So your resume and your cover letter. These are skills that can be demonstrated in your handshake or LinkedIn profiles, but these are ways, there are things that employers are looking for that you then would be able to do on the job. So things like critical thinking and problem solving, professionalism and work ethic, oral and written communications, leadership abilities, digital technology and technical skills related to your field, teamwork and collaboration, global and intercultural fluency, and finally, career management. So these are skills that regardless of the industry, employers are often looking for in their candidates. It's important for you to be able to articulate these skills in writing. So that way, when you submit a resume and a cover letter, or if a recruiter is looking at your LinkedIn profile, they can easily tell that you have the skills that they're seeking in that position. In the Center for Career and Professional Development, we have generated several sample resumes for you to refer to whenever you are developing your own document. We encourage you not to use a template, as many employers show that this feel that this shows a lack of creativity, which is one of the skills they're looking for in a new hire. We also offer resume guides, which can be used to develop each section of your resume to make your document stand out. You can see on here that we ask, what's the purpose of a resume? Many students say that the purpose of the resume is to get a job, but we would say the purpose of a resume is to get an interview. The resume is your first impression on paper and to show the employer that you are qualified for the position and to make them want to know more about you. So that way they'll call you in for an interview to determine if you're a good fit for the position. Because of that, the answer to when do I need a resume is now. You never know when opportunity is going to strike. And so you want to have a professional document that's been critiqued and ready to submit for all of these great opportunities that are going to be coming your way. Through your Handshake account, you can request a resume critique. You can submit it through our online portal and get feedback on your written documents. Your resume should be a summary of your qualifications and should offer a positive first impression of you. So that's why it's really important to get your document critiqued. You can see on here several other options for document critiques. Currently, we are offering all of our critiques virtually, but under normal circumstances, we do offer drop-in hours or in-person appointments. But right now, all of our documents are being critiqued online. So we've looked at what can I do with this major, values, interests, and strengths, and talked about do you have a winning resume and cover letter. Remember that CCPD will critique both. We will look at your resume, your cover letter, and your references, as well as providing critiques on those professional profiles. So finally, we want to talk about your interviewing skills. We're going to talk about some ways to be able to put those skills into practice to make sure that you're ready for the real thing. So an avenue to demonstrate verbal communication skills is through an interview. So let's face it, after you submit your amazing resume for a job or an internship, you're going to get a call for an interview, right? Most interviewers form an opinion about you in the first 30 seconds of that interview. So it is vital to create a great first impression. Preparing well in advance of your interview will ensure confidence and professionalism on your big day. So 5 tips to remember. We strongly encourage you to prepare and practice. You want to make a great first impression with the employer once you get the chance to be face-to-face with them. It's really important that you overcome your nerves. It is very normal and natural to be nervous about an interview. It's a big deal and there's a lot riding on it, but you can't be so nervous that you're unable to answer the questions or unable to perform professionally. So by preparing and practicing and utilizing the resources that CCPD has to offer, you can help to overcome those nerves and to be confident to be able to sell yourself in all of these great skills and experiences that you have. And then finally, you want to close the deal. So it's important to make a good first impression, but it's also important to leave on a good note, to send a thank you note, to thank them for their time, to have good questions prepared at the end of the interview. So some venues for putting this into practice. CCPD offers several services and opportunities to practice these interviewing skills. If you want to practice with a professional to help with the jitters, juniors, seniors, and graduate students and alumni can request a mock interview with a CCPD team member through your Handshake account. A mock interview is a practice interview in which the interviewee is asked questions typical of those in an employment or a professional school admissions interview. At the conclusion, the interviewer will provide feedback and suggestions for you. Currently, these are all being offered virtually, but under normal circumstances, we do offer face-to-face mock interviews as well. If you don't have time to schedule a face-to-face interview through Zoom, or if you're a freshman or a sophomore, CCPD offers a program called Interview Stream. All you need is a computer, a webcam, and a microphone. Interview Stream uses the information that you provide to create realistic, customized interview scenarios. It uses video capture, which allows you to capture your responses to interview questions using a webcam. Then you can go back and review the questions to self-critique your performance. It allows you to see exactly what you look and sound like to a prospective employer. With Interview Stream, you'll be able to practice, develop, and perfect your interview skills as often as you'd like while working at your own pace. The great thing about Interview Stream is that you can customize those mock interviews. So you can search for questions related to your field and drag and drop those questions into a customized mock interview. Or CCPD offers a virtual mock interview that is available for anyone to be able to take within Interview Stream. Our interviewing skills workshops or appointments are also great ways to be able to learn about these different skills and how to practice them. So we've touched base on all of these pre-job search checklist areas, right? So we've completed that checklist, and so the rest of our presentation is going to talk about utilizing different online resources. There are so many resources available at your fingertips online, and so we're going to talk about a couple of these that you can utilize in this job search process. So if you're asking yourself, how can I research and learn about the areas that I may be interested in? One resource we recommend is called ONET. It's a free online database that contains hundreds of occupational definitions and information to help students, job seekers, businesses, and workforce development professionals understand today's world of work in the United States. Through this website, you can research jobs by the level of education or job zone. This method of searching really helps to highlight all of the pathways to success that are out there. From the ONET website, you can click on the My Next Move area on the right-hand side. One of the great features in ONET is this, tell us what you want to do for a living section. If you are unsure about what you would like to do, but would still like to explore your options, the interest profiler will ask you a series of questions about your interests, values, education, and will display career choices that may be suitable for your wants and needs. Through this feature, you may discover careers that you didn't even think were an option. If you have an idea of what industry you want to pursue, there is an option for that as well. And if you know exactly what you would like to do, you can utilize the I want to be blank feature to search just for that. Through this website, you can research the jobs by level of education, and it will really help to highlight all the pathways to success into a future career out there. So this is an example of some of the information that you can find on different careers. And so it offers, you can see information on education, and will tell you the level of education typically required. Tells you about different work styles that are required for that field. It can connect those interests in there, and it will also show you related occupations. So if you're looking at a job and you want to see some things that are maybe just related to that, if that one isn't the right fit, you can see a whole list of different related occupations that are linked there, where it can show you things that include some elements of that position, but maybe offer some different elements as well. Another great resource to utilize to search for jobs and industries is something called the Occupational Outlook Handbook. This is offered by the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. And so you can see in an example here of a career, this one is for dentists. And so it shows you things like the compensation for that field, what the work environment is like, an in-depth job description, projected outlook for that career. So how quickly is, what does growth look like in that career over the next few years? It allows you to view the necessary certifications or degrees that are needed for that field. So tons of information right at your fingertips. A nice thing about ONET and the Occupational Outlook Handbook is that they're pulled from federal databases. As you can see, they're supported by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So what that tells us is that this information is really accurate. It's a solid source for being able to do this kind of searching on finding out some concrete information about your field. Something that a lot of people utilize are some of these big major job search engines. You can see a whole host of them here. So one thing that's important to note is that if an employer posts their position on one of these job boards, they may look through hundreds of resumes as they find someone to interview. If they go through sites such as LinkedIn, they may go through, they'll go through fewer resumes than that. If an employer posts their open position directly on their website, they'll only look through maybe a handful of submissions for it. And so if you, as the job seeker, take the initiative and search a specific job or a job type, and then send your resume through directly to the company, then you can really increase your chances of being noticed. So these search engines are good ways to research different available opportunities, but we do encourage you to submit your resume directly to the company if possible. Looking on Handshake is another great way to be able to apply directly to some of these companies. So one thing to know about job searching is that it is not what you know, but who you know, and also who knows you. And so we really encourage you to be increasing your network while you're in college. Networking is important in learning about careers and making valuable contacts. It is also the most effective method of finding a job or an internship. One way to network is to conduct informational interviews. These are meetings where you interview professionals about their career paths, experiences, and recommendations. You can really get to know the ins and outs of a career field through informational interviews. One important thing to know about job searching is that not all positions are posted online. Sometimes opportunities can come through some of the connections that you see here. That maybe the world's best brother, that his roommate works in a field that you are interested in. And so he may tell your brother about this great opportunity, and hey, doesn't your sister work in, have a degree in marketing? Same thing with things like your college boss. That's how I've gotten a lot of my positions, is through, networking and mentors and different supervisors that I've had. You can also see your professors are great opportunities for networking because they have a lot of alumni connections. Career Center, the CCPD, is a great opportunity to help to connect to some of these employers and opportunities as well. So all of our services are embedded in Handshake, which is the online career management platform. By claiming and utilizing your Handshake account, you'll have all of our services at your fingertips. You can search employers, post your resume, and apply for jobs. Employers can search for candidates and post positions within the system as well. So from the CCPD homepage, you can click on Handshake and then select Student, and then click on the Stephen F. Austin State University button and put in your MySFA credentials. One important thing to keep in mind as you are searching for jobs is that employers will search you on social media. It is just an expected part of the process these days. So as you can see with this comic, let's forget the resume, son. Let's just take a look at what you've posted on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, insert your social media of choice here. So this comic is funny, but it's really accurate. Employers will research you before you even come in for an interview. So social media can be used in a lot of positive ways, but just know that for some candidates, it can have a negative effect on their job search. It is critical for employers to know who they're bringing in and to know whether this person, these candidates are going to be good representatives of their company. So we encourage you to think about making your social media accounts private, or just being very aware of what is available out there for companies to find. A few things to know. 80% of companies are planning to use social networking to find and attract candidates. So you can see here 95% of those are planning on using LinkedIn, about 60% will use Facebook, and maybe 40% will use Twitter. Human resources departments will then use social networks to research candidates. So you can see some different platforms that they use to do this research. They also will do things like Googling candidates and to see what pops up on there. They may perform an image search under your name. Lots of different ways for them to be able to research potential candidates. And so it's really important that you take ownership in that brand. What is available out there for the employers, and to work to make sure that it is only positive and professional things that they'll find out about you. So it's important to know about LinkedIn. This is the world's largest professional network. Professionals from hundreds of industries and every Fortune 500 company are represented. So LinkedIn is a great resource for you to begin connecting with peers, classmates, professors, and professionals. It is important to be able to utilize LinkedIn properly. And so if you just blanket send a whole bunch of requests to all these people that you don't know, and if too many people say, I don't know who you are, it can potentially put you in LinkedIn jail. So it's really important that you're utilizing that messaging feature when you're trying to connect with people on LinkedIn. You can reach out to alumni, professionals that you've met at conferences or at professional meetings. It's a great tool for being able to network, but you want to do it properly and to send message to those connections, telling them why it is that you're wanting to connect with them. You can utilize social media and these professional social networks to find jobs. So we encourage you to start by adopting this FIA approach. So first, find. Identify people and or companies for whom you would like to work. Then interact. Begin to connect with those people via social networks and through private contact. Demonstrate your knowledge and your interest in that field and figure out ways that you can be helpful to them. And then finally, ask. Ask if those people can help to get you connected with someone who can help you with your job search. You want to be sure that this is a two-way street. You want to offer to help other people as well as asking for help yourself. So some of the things to know before applying, again, being sure that you know what your current online presence consists of, what information is already online about you, and what kinds of images could a potential employer see whenever they Google your name. We encourage you to Google yourself. Look at those image results. Look at those search results. See what is out there. Google yourself and put plus SFA or plus your high school. Look at different combinations in order to see what is going to show up out there about you, because the employer is likely doing this kind of search as well. So we want you to discover these things and then be sure to clean it up. Make sure that your privacy restrictions are set up properly. And so do yourself a favor and just go through and clean all of this up, because as you can see from some of these examples, there can be really negative ramifications to job searchers whenever employers find things that they are not happy with on your social media accounts. So one thing to remember is that networking socially is just as important as social networking. So be sure to just practice those networking skills and to be sure to conduct yourself professionally and appropriately. Some of the do's in this social networking job search: we want you to be professional and to be authentic. It's important to give off an accurate reflection of yourself and your personality, but to always keep things professional. Create your profiles on LinkedIn and Handshake with keywords that relate to your job search so that employers can find you more easily. Something else that you can consider doing is connecting your various profiles together so that way you're more accessible. You want to introduce your friends and connections to each other. Again, you want to be sure that you are providing assistance to people as much as you're asking for assistance. So if you hear about a great opportunity, but it's not a good fit for you, refer some friends or some classmates to it, or let other people know about it. Finally, research your industry and familiarize yourself with appropriate jargon and acronyms, so that way it helps to give you some credentials within that field. On this slide, we're looking at the different job search action plans. So this is a resource that the Center for Career and Professional Development has created to assist students in looking for jobs and internships. So first, we want to look at, again, just reviewing those strengths and weaknesses, establishing a timeline, so make sure that you have a goal for being in that new position, reviewing resume samples that are appropriate for your industry, looking at cover letters and starting to prepare some cover letters for the different types of positions that you're looking at, and then submitting those documents for critique. It is critical that these documents are flawless, that they don't contain typos and grammatical errors, and that they're appropriate for your industry. So we strongly encourage you to be submitting these documents for critique through our office. Incorporate that feedback and then resubmit it for another critique. Again, edit those social media accounts to reflect a professional image. Next, you want to prepare a list of employers that you wish to work for. So some examples here, prepare that list that includes your best and most exciting prospects, other prospects within your industry, and then also thinking about employers who employ alumni from our university and from your major. Next, we encourage you to begin cultivating and renewing those personal and business contacts. Check your references and make sure all their information is updated. Be sure that you have asked those references for permission to be listed as references. And then start to look at the media that lists these employment opportunities. So you want to look at what used to be called Jobs for Jackson is now called Handshake, LinkedIn, other areas, checking with employment or temporary agencies, attending career fairs, looking at chambers of commerce, and then also looking directly at company websites. It's also important to utilize that network. Again, like we said, not all positions are going to be listed online. So it is important that you're utilizing that network as much as you're searching for the positions. As you start to apply for the positions, we encourage you to keep track in a list of all the positions that you've applied for. It's easy to kind of get lost whenever you're applying for positions in lots of different places. So just to keep yourself organized, maintain a list of all the different places that you're applying and make note of when those positions close. You can see at the bottom that you need to follow up on these positions. And so you want to make note of when they close so that you kind of have an idea of when you should be hearing back and when it would be appropriate to follow up on that, to check on the status of that hiring. So this slide shows our career development guide. So across your time at SFA, we encourage you to be doing all of these different things to sort of help boost your employability. So we encourage you to explore and figure out what's out there, experiment to look at all the different ways that you can gain experience. Again, start to gain experience in these different fields that you're interested in. And then finally, putting your job search into that Excel mode. How can you be successful in achieving these goals? So this is the team in the Center for Career and Professional Development. We have 4 full-time team members, 2 graduate assistants, and a large staff of student career advocates who all are here to support you in this job search process. Again, we can support you through career coaching, job search, specific career coaching. We can look at your documents. We will help with interviewing. There are many, many resources to help you with this. We know that this can be kind of a nerve-wracking process, but know that you have support in place. It's just important to get started with it early so you have as much time as possible to perfect these skills, to work on these documents, and to really feel confident moving into your job search. Our offices are located on the 3rd floor of the Rust building, but again, all of our services are available virtually. So just a brief look at some of the different resources that we offer as well. So handshake, mock interviews, career fairs, on-campus interviews with companies up here on the 3rd floor. Just lots of different resources to be able to help you guys out in looking for these jobs. You can see at the bottom our contact information, our email address, and our website. But we encourage you to reach out to us to see how we might be able to help you with this process. So I appreciate your time today. Encourage y'all to reach out if there's anything that we can help with. But we wish you all the best of luck in your internship and job search process.